All right, doing things a little different today. We're getting straight to it. Brake pads and rotors. This is what your brake pad should look like for the front. This is what your rotor looks like. This is your old rotor, obviously, but just so you can get a good look to make sure you get the right part. As you can see, my wheel is already off. Basically, if you want to get your wheel off, you want to break your lug nuts loose while they're on the ground, while the wheel's on the ground. If not, then it's gonna spin the whole time that you're trying to get it off. And then jack it up, jack the car up. I'm using this jack point here, this beam that runs from the side, this main beam. And I'm also using my jack stands. Remove this cap from your brake reservoir and just set it back on top. All right, first thing, we're gonna get this caliper off. So we're gonna remove these two bolts right here and right here. They're 18mm bolts. Let's get those off. Once you get these bolts out, if you're having a hard time getting the caliper off still, just use your C-clamp, get some pressure here and then here, and just go back and forth until you get these calipers in a little bit, and then you'll be able to get this caliper off. Once the caliper is off, then you can start to remove your brake pads. Normally I would tie up my caliper, but there's a perfect spot for it right here. I know it's not going to go anywhere. If you don't feel comfortable, please go ahead and tie yours up. Let's go ahead and remove this caliper bracket. So there's two 18mm bolts that we need to remove. Let's get that off. I have the bracket off. The only thing holding this on is these two little clamps right here. A little circle, you can see it. You can pry your flathead underneath it and slowly work it out, or you can get, if you can get one of these fins up, you can be able to push it counterclockwise and it can also rotate off. Once I got those off, I was able to wiggle this caliper off slowly. So if yours is stuck, don't worry, we're replacing it anyway. So go ahead, get a hammer and beat on it, spin it, beat on it, spin it, beat on it again until it comes off. Now we have our rotor off. We can go ahead, do a little cleaning up, get a wire brush and clean up around this area, the surface areas, and then we'll put our new rotor back on. All right, we got a brand new shiny rotor on. Now it's time to push the piston back into the caliper. So we're gonna get our old brake pad and set it in there and C-clamp and push those in. This was my C-clamp setup. I was able to get it pressed all the way in. Now we can go ahead and put the caliper back on. All right, so all these grooves right here is going to make it hard to put your hardware on. You can see how flaky it is and rusty. So we need to get up in here with a wire brush or a wire wheel, and we need to clean all of this out, all of this rust caked on. We need to get all that cleaned up. So I'm going to use a wire wheel, but you can also use a wire brush. While we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and wire wheel these bolts and put a little anti-seize on it, and then I'll just go ahead and put this caliper bracket on. My caliper bracket is clean and back on. I can put my hardware on now. Now for our brake pad, I have to bring them in at an angle like this, and then once they're in, we can get them over the little lobe right there, just like that. And let's do the inside. Now it's time to apply grease. When I apply grease, I put a little grease on the forks here, here, and then I apply a little grease around the outside of the pistons. Both pads are on. Now I can go ahead and slide the caliper on. I have the brake pads on, the caliper is on, everything is good, the rotary looks good. Now it's time to go ahead and put the tire on and let the truck down. Now that we're finished, this cap that we left loose, just go ahead and tighten that back up. that pretty much wraps up this job of changing front rotors with brake pads. Thanks for watching. Tune in again. If you liked the video, you thought it was helpful, be sure to hit the like, subscribe button. Also, if you feel this video saved you some money, don't be afraid to leave a little tip in the Cash App. The more reactions and support that I receive is the more content that I'll make.